Hi there. I haven't been doing videos for a while because of this cold I've got. It just went to a completely different level. But I'm doing a talk now. Yeah, I just haven't been well enough. I haven't been able to talk at all, so that's why I haven't been doing any videos. And I don't have anything planned. I think what I want to talk about. Something just dropped. Maybe I want to talk about my journey, because even though that I've got this cold and everything, and I've still been doing a lot of this path doesn't stop. I'm always meditating upon something. I'm always getting a new insight into something else. I've been thinking a lot about my diet, in terms of I want to do like a 7-day fruit fasting kind of thing. And so I'm always going through this path. This path I'm always going through, even when I'm ill. And I just saw a post just now on the internet. It said, "What are you manifesting?" I think if I was to think of it, what I'm manifesting, apart from a cold, I manifested that. But I think what I'm always manifesting, even in the cold and in this cold that I've had, is new ideas. And I always manifest information. I always get constant knowledge. But it's not because I'm special, and people get it wrong when, this path of mine, was unexpected. This first started as an unexpected spiritual awakening. And I didn't ask for it. And some people can get offended because they feel, I've even had people saying it, "You think you know better." I don't think that. I think that I have one way of looking at the world that is unique, but there's billions more unique ways of looking at the world on this planet alone. So I think I know nothing. When you think that your opinion is tiny compared to billions, you know nothing. It's just one possibility. One possibility. It's 1,000,000,000 to 1 for you to be right. It's just, you know what I mean? And this is the thing, and so I'm not saying I know more than anyone. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to, when I do these videos, when I'm talking about my awakening, I try and say what happened to me, and I try and talk about the depression. I try and talk about what happened, so that it lets other people know. It lets other people know what I've been through. And because they might not know, they might just think that I've always been happy, that I've always been like into this kind of stuff. But what happened with me, there was a lot of depression, the way I used to look at myself wasn't very good. My expectations was world driven. The world tells you what to do and how you should be. And when you don't meet them, you start to get anxious. So you get a lot of anxiety. And you take things like drugs or whatever it is you're taking. And it helps short term, but you've still got this anxiety in you. And when I realize now that when I was doing that, I was basically, trying to do something or trying to be somebody that I could never be. It's like an impossible expectation, and it's based upon what everyone else in the outside world is telling you. So this path showed me to stop doing that. Stop trying to live your life what other people want you to be, and just let it go. Let go of the ego that comes with that. Let go of the self. Let go of it all. And that's the answer. The answer is to just let go of what the world is trying to force you to be, and that you'll feel a lot better. Let go of anything, everything that your ego holds on to. These talks are very meditative, I've noticed that. But I'm always going through meditation. I'm always like this, so that's why when I'm doing my talks on here, it probably comes across quite meditative, and that's good because I want you to go through that. I saw something on the internet the other day on meditation, and it was crazy. They were like saying that meditation was like evil, and they were saying that meditation and yoga, I mean, I don't do yoga, but yoga is a very good thing, and we know that, and they were saying that yoga is demonic and meditation is demonic. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And these people were like talking about how, oh, you should only pray to God and you shouldn't be going inside yourself and meditating. And these people that are saying that don't know what they're saying. They sound crazy. All meditation is basically just taking in the moment, basically. That's it. And the answer is always within that. It's pretty to me, it's like normality. It's rational to just be in the moment. Rather than being crazy and thinking about all this ideas in your head. That's all meditation is. But when you break it down and then you start to be present, the anxiety goes away. And it's a great tool to help heal anxiousness and stuff like that, and can really help you in your life, and I do it all the time. But the world is crazy. Because they would rather pray to some God that they don't know exists than they would to trust themselves. Now, I'm not saying your God might be right. Your God might be the greatest thing ever, but what if that isn't true? And I'm the kind of person that I like to live my life with something that I know for sure. I'm not into, I can't be with a lassie that I don't know is intimate. I can't do that, no. I can't live my life with uncertainty. So, that's what this path was all about. This unexpected spiritual awakening, was basically just a situation of focusing on things that are real to me. That's all a spiritual awakening is. You're basically just being aware of things, and then you're starting to find out about reality because you're just looking rationally. You see, the normal person doesn't look from a rational way. If you think about it, praying to a God or worshipping an external savior that you don't know exists isn't rational. It's not rational to do that. It's insane behavior. It's rational to be meditative and to work things out in your own mind. That is rational behavior. It's rational to see that at some stage you have to have nothing, so that ends all arguments about God and everything, when you realise that all things must come as nothing. And then the next question is, well, what is reality then? How can you have life? I don't know. Maybe it just is like what Buddhists say. Buddhism talks about that it just is, and they don't really know an answer for it. And maybe there isn't an answer. Maybe there's just this. I mean, this is all we have. And maybe the thing should be not to ask too many questions. Just be. Just be here. And meditate upon that, and there's no problems when you do that. You know, and then what happens is, when you're doing this is what happened to me in this awakening, then you start to have all these insightful answers onto reality, because of the fact you're just being present. All the answers are within presence. And on this talks, you know, they're meditative, but I like to talk about my awakening, to help other people awaken, because it wasn't a separate divine experience that's better than everyone else. I basically had enough, and then I started to be still. I started to pay attention to this moment, and then you're communicating with almost like your divine self, your meditative self, your the stillness, the consciousness that's here is leading you then. But like I say, the people that were calling meditation evil, they would rather pray to an external savior and live in fear, because you're going to live in fear when you don't know if it's real what you're worshipping, or you don't know the ins and outs of it. That's going to leave you in fear. They would rather do that than to actually sort their own problems out. That's because spirituality and ascension is for warriors. You know, you're not a light worker when you wake up. You're a light warrior, not a light worker, a light warrior. And this path is for warriors. You know, because it doesn't matter how great your life is. It doesn't matter if it's an external god or a crystal. If you believe that you're not enough on your own, then you will always doubt yourself. And you might think you're benefiting just now, but long term and spiritually, you're telling yourself secretly in your mind, I am not enough on my own. And someone who thinks that they are enough on their own will always be that spiritually and mentally stronger than you are, if they think that they're enough. This is why the religious person who doesn't believe in themselves will never be as strong as someone who believes that they are the infinity. And it's obvious to me that all this religious nonsense is to take away any idea that you're infinity. Take away any idea that you're one with God instead of separate. You know, they want you to think that you're separate from God and not one with God, and not God. But then even if you think of it logically, is what I started to think about after my unexpected awakening. I start thinking, well, everything has to come from nothing. That means that I be the nothing. That means I be the infinity. That means I'm God. Oh my God. But this is what they don't want you to know. This is why atheism gets criticized when it's just common sense. And I'm not into religion at all, but the really religious people don't like common sense, which is that all things has to start from nothing. And everything after that is just made up by someone. You have to have a slate of nothing at some stage, and everything after that nothing, when it's a something, has to be made up by someone. So that means all gods that you think are great, all saviors, all these are just made up stories by somebody at some stage has to make that up. That's why I say to me, I think reality comes from nothing, and that this is the nothing, and that it's all a dream. And that it's all the same awareness experiencing itself in an illusion of separation, and it's the same one thing. But what do I know? That's, like I said earlier in the video, that's one perspective, but there's billions more perspectives on planet Earth, so how can anyone know for sure if they're right or wrong? That's why I say I know nothing. But I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much. Thank you.